the first one we did there, we call it a suitcase carry. If you picture yourself walking through the airport, carrying your suitcase on one side. Basically what we're looking for there is to stay nice and tall, even though you have a heavy weight on one side. What that's going to do for you is, number one, you're using your core as it should be used. We're not doing crunches or curl-ups or anything like that. You're staying tall. The function of the core is actually to keep you tall. So we're staying nice and tall with the weight on one side, and it's almost like a walking version of a side plank. So anybody who's done side planks before on their elbow, this is basically a variation that can keep you tall. You're working on your hand strength as well. So you're going to feel a lot of work on one side of your body. Basically the way we do it is you'll walk a certain length with the weight in one hand, switch up your hands and come back with the weight in the other hand.
One leg squats, really like these exercises a lot. It's great training for any athlete, ice hockey player, anybody else for that matter, because when we run or skate, always only pushing with one leg at a time. So all of our squatting is done single extremity, whether it's a split squat, rear frontal rig squat, one leg squat. I really like the one leg squats too, because without the other foot providing any support, it really requires a lot of hip and core stability and strength. So one leg squats are a must-have in the training program.
Another version of a one leg squat, and this is actually one that's used quite a bit because you can add a significant amount of load to it. So if you get a player, an athlete that's strong enough to do the single leg squat, we can put a certain amount of load on the single leg squat, but if we take our back foot up and do what's called a rear foot elevated split squat, or also some people call it a Bulgarian split squat, you can add a significant amount of load. So you see in the picture we're holding a barbell, and you can basically load that up if you get a player that's strong enough. So it's a nice way to load the movement. It requires a little bit of balance and a lot of demand on the front leg, but it's something that can really get hips and knees or quads really strong in a hurry. So that's got to be part of the program as well.
A straight leg deadlift or hip hinging pattern. I really like these exercises a lot. It's teaching the athlete to keep their core tight and their spine straight, and to move from their hip joint instead of flexing and extending their lower back. Also a great way to build strength in the posterior chain, so that's hamstrings, your butt, into your back and the back of your shoulders, which is where unfortunately a lot of people are lacking because they spend so much time sitting down. So straight leg deadlift is a tremendous posterior chain builder. I think the big catch there is you don't actually do it with your legs totally straight. Your knee shouldn't be locked. You should have a small amount of knee bend. Will protect your lower back from injury.
Sticking with the back side of the body, pull-ups are, like Daryl said, extremely important. The back of your body is very important, but a lot of times I think you can't see it. A lot of times people forget about it. That kind of strength to have in your back and to have in your butt and the back of your legs is really important. So we use pull-ups with hands facing forward. We do a lot of variations, but any kind of pulling pattern where you're pulling your head up towards the ceiling is going to be really important for developing back strength, keeping great posture with your shoulders, and that's something where a lot of times with screen time and school, a lot of athletes will end up rounded forward, and then they get in their gym class and they do a bench press on top of that. So everything's getting really tight and forward, but what we want to do is strengthen things in the back and get things tightened up in the back. So back strength is actually a huge factor in shooting. Okay, so core and back strength is a huge factor in shooting. So want to make sure we're balanced out there. We're going to do, for every push we do, we're going to do at least one pulling exercise. So pull-ups is a great one to use for that, and you're handling your own body weight, which is really important.
Another great posterior chain exercise we talked about was the stability ball leg curl. Whenever we do any of our leg curl type exercises, we try to avoid the like a weight machine based leg curl, like where you're laying on a bench face down. Twofold there. One is because people tend to arch their back and use their hip flexors when they're laying face down, which is the opposite of what we want to happen. And two, when you're laying face down, your glutes, your butt muscles don't have to fire. So if you lay on your back and you face the ceiling when you do your leg curls, glutes have to fire to extend your hips, and then your hamstrings flex and extend your knee joint. And that's really important, especially the eccentric part, or the part of the exercise where the knee is extending and the ball is moving away, because that's the function your hamstring has. When you run and when you skate, it decelerates your foot when your foot moves forward when you sprint. And that's where a lot of hamstring injuries come from. So another great posterior chain builder, stability ball leg curl.
We talked a little bit about the pull-up as being a big strength builder for posterior chain or the back of the body. We also are going to use, a lot of times we use TRX. We use weights as well, like free weights for this as well, but TRX is a great way to do it because you can vary it to anybody's ability level. So the TRX row is sort of like a pull-up. In a pull-up, you're pulling your head up towards the ceiling. In a row, your chest is facing the ceiling and you're pulling your chest up in between the handles. And what we look for there is just a nice complete pull. So even at the top, you're controlling it and pulling all the way up to the top. A lot of times what you'll see is people who are weak in the back, they'll get one hard rip and their arms are relatively straight and then just sort of fling themselves up in between their hands. But what we want to see is a full, nice, even count, controlled movement, so you're building strength throughout the whole movement rather than just getting one hard pull and then relying on momentum to do that. So that's another pulling exercise we do. Whenever we're thinking about pulling, we're thinking about pulling not only down towards our head, but also in towards our chest.
Push-ups. We really like push-ups a lot. We think they're great. A lot of people do, obviously, push-ups, but in a way we think isn't very good. Number one reason why we like push-ups is because unlike bench press and other exercises, when you're facing down, your core musculature also has to work. So we've got to stabilize the lower back. So we do push-ups. We want a flat lower back, no big scoop or arch where the hips are sagging down to the floor. So it activates a lot more muscle fibers, the entire front of your body, from your shoulders all the way down to your core. And then obviously the shoulder strength. And it's very easy to adapt push-ups to people that are stronger and more fit. Elevate your feet, wear a weight vest. You can incorporate some kind of unstable surface, like hands on a medicine ball, hands on the TRX, to increase the demands of push-ups.
Just like with the suitcase carrier, we're working on kind of resisting this lateral flexion or flexing to the side throughout the core. We're going to use other exercises to anti-extend or to resist extension of your lower back. So when we do a Swiss ball rollout or a stability ball rollout, we're looking to stay nice and tall. And a cue we use a lot is pretend you don't have a hip joint. So you're one piece right from your shoulder straight down through your knees. Okay, so on the stability ball rollout, we're looking to fall forward from your knees and push into the ball and bring yourself back up. Again, we're looking at the core as a stabilizer because you're going to use your legs to produce power. You want all that power that you produce with your legs to come through a really solid core. So we're going to work on keeping that core nice and solid. The stability ball rollout is one way to do that. There's a lot of variations that we use in increasing difficulty. But this is a great one to start. You'll see some people reach out and then the hips fall down. So we're gonna try to build on that and make it so that they can fall forward from their knees and keep their upper body nice and solid, pushing into the ball and come back up tall.